Welcome, my dear learners of P5 class, Teacher Kaganz Moses back again. We are still looking at climate of Uganda, and therefore, last time I left you with some activity, and we're gonna start by going through. I want to find out, did you really sit down and do some good work? Therefore, before we kick off, if you've been watching a television or been having any destructive activity around you, please, I request you get in a convenience place and we'll proceed. So take 1 minute, organize yourself, and we proceed without any inconvenience. Well, in the previous lesson, we looked at equatorial climate, and this is the activity that I left with you, okay? Number 1 was talking about which type of climate is described as hot and wet throughout the year. So you realize that's equatorial climate. Number 2, state any one characteristic of equatorial climate. We had covered that in our work. So here I gave you just a hint, but we have a variety. So one of the characteristics, it is hot and wet throughout the year. You can refer to the notes for some other characteristics. Number 3, give the difference between lumbering and deforestation. So lumbering is the cutting down of mature trees for timber, while deforestation is the massive cutting down of trees. Then question 4 was talking about why are perennial crops suitable in the equatorial climatic region? So you find the equatorial climatic region experiences heavy rainfall that supports the growing of those perennial crops. Number 5, give the reason why people in the equatorial climatic regions build houses with slanting roofs. Therefore, this one allows easy flow of water off the roofs. So I believe you've been having a pencil. Where you went wrong, you can do the corrections in a neat way, okay? So, in today's lesson, we're gonna look at another type of climate in Uganda, and that is semi-arid climate. When you recall very well, when we were just starting, I think I gave you a table that had all these types of climate, so you can tell me which other name is given to a semi-arid climatic region, or which other name is given to a semi-arid climate. So I would expect in today's lesson for you to describe semi-arid climatic region, to be able to state the characteristics of semi-arid climate or a semi-arid climatic region, to locate semi-arid climatic region on the map of Uganda. In other words, what are those parts in Uganda that experience semi-arid climate? Then, lastly but not the least, I will expect you to identify the economic activities carried out in semi-arid climatic region. I hope we are together. Yes, and in our first session today, we want to see how we can describe a semi-arid climatic region, just like in the previous types of climate or types of climatic regions. So can you please take 1 minute and think, how can one be able to identify a semi-arid climatic region? How can one be able to identify a semi-arid climatic region? Just 1 minute, you can interact with your neighbor there, your brother, your sister, and come up with what can be, how one can be able to identify a semi-arid climatic region. Yes, just 1 minute, you can think of that. Yes, we don't need to spoon feed you. We need to develop a citizen that can think and solve the problems. Yes, I believe the 1 minute is done. So, I want us to compare, okay? To compare with what you have come up with. So, a semi-arid climatic region is described as hot and dry. This kind of area is always hot and dry. Therefore, these are the characteristics. These are the things that show you that this is a semi-arid climatic region. 1, Yes, it is hot and dry. Then it has hot days and very cold nights. You can start thinking about why do these semi-arid climatic regions have very, very cold nights? We shall see that as we continue, okay? Then it experiences a long dry season. It receives little rainfall, then the temperature is high. So when you get a place that has all these features, all these characteristics, then it shows you that such an area is a semi-arid climatic region or a semi-desert climatic region. So just like I've told you, think about why do these areas, the semi-arid areas, why do they have cold nights? During the day, we are saying they are very hot. The temperatures are very high. When you're living in such an area, you need to put on very light clothes. So what happens when it comes to night? Why are they very cold? So you realize that the nights are very cold simply because the skies are very clear during night hours. Okay? So they can, for instance, ask you, why are semi-arid areas very cold during night? So just very simple, the semi-arid areas, the skies are very cold. The skies are very clear at night in the semi-arid climatic regions. Are we together? Yes. If there is anybody playing around, please try to inform that person that this work is very important. By the way, have you ever taken the trouble to find out why do we study about climate? Why do we need to know all these climatic regions? I think it is very useless. How about you? Why do we bother ourselves talking about these types of climate? Oh, I was joking. So you realize that learning about this gives us a lot to learn. We need to know if I'm going to a semi-desert area, which kind of clothes do I have to put on? If I'm going there, yes, I've talked about the clothes, and you can still that it also gives you to know if you're living in such an area, which kind of activities can you carry out? So please, take this work very serious. You'll be the ones again to teach our Ugandans, to teach some of our parents who may not be knowing these things, and we'll proceed. We build our Uganda and the entire world. Okay? That's right. Yes, so we shall proceed to our session 2, and in this session is talking about location of semi-arid climatic region on the map of Uganda. So I have here a simple activity for you that you're going to think about. So it says, in which part of Uganda do you think this type of climate, semi-arid climate, is experienced? You have moved around Uganda with your parents, you have gone for trips. So can you, basing on the characteristics that we saw in the previous session, which parts of Uganda do you think experience such a type of climate? Take 1 minute and think about that. All right. So you realize that this type of climate is majorly experienced in northeastern Uganda. And that area or that region is sometimes referred to as the Karamoja region. My fellow Karamojons, you can wave to me. I think when I talk about semi-arid climate, you're just in class. So this area experiences semi-arid climate simply because the region experiences northeast trade winds which are dry. Or you can simply say northeastern Uganda or Karamoja region experiences dry winds. Okay? So when we check in the next heading here, as you can see, districts that experience semi-arid climate, just like I've talked about Karamoja region. So I've come up with a few districts that are found in that region. One of them is Kotido. Can you spell Kotido? It's capital K-O-T-I-D-O, Kotido. Then we have Moroto district, we have Nakapiripirit, Abim district, and then Kabong. So these are the districts in Uganda that majorly experience semi-arid climate. Okay? So meaning these are semi-arid climatic districts. So as we proceed, you can check on the map of Uganda. This is our key, okay? And in this case, this one is representing our semi-desert climatic region. So when you look at this map here, which region are you seeing having this color here? So you realize the region we are talking about is this one. That is the northeastern Uganda, or the Karamoja region. So this is where we find those districts that I've been mentioning, the Kotido, the Beam, the Kabong, the Moroto, all of them are found here, okay? Then we have some parts of southwestern Uganda here that also experiences the same type of climate. So next time, for instance, when they draw for you such a map and they say, mention the type of climate that is experienced in this region here, what can you say? I believe you tell those people that is semi-arid or semi-desert climate, okay? Are we together? Yes. So I can't leave this region without talking about some other important things. For instance, which national game park do we find in this region, just around here? Which national game park? Yes, for those who have made some research, you find out that we have Kidepo Valley National Game Park here. Kidepo Valley National Game Park, well known for ostriches, okay? Then, I also told you somebody can tease you and say, why does this region here receive semi-arid climate? Or why is this a semi-arid climatic region? So the reason is just very simple. This area receives dry winds. This area receives dry winds. And those winds, we call them the northeast trade winds. Reason why they are trade winds, they always supported the traders some years back, okay, to travel to East Africa. Okay, I hope we are still together, okay? So we can proceed. In our session 3, we're gonna look at the economic activities that are carried out in semi-arid climatic region. So you can refer back to our characteristics. If you're in such a region that is hot and dry, receives little rainfall, what are the possible or what are the suitable economic activities that you can carry out? This is very important because in the future you may settle in such a region, so you need to know, okay? So basing on the characteristics of this region, what can be the suitable economic activities carried out there or carried out here? Just 1.5 minutes, okay? You can think about those economic activities. Some of them you find they cut across. They are the very ones that we saw in the previous climatic regions. So what do you think? All right. So as we proceed, you will find out that the economic activity is suitable in semi-arid climatic region. 1, we have what we call pastoralism. Everyone will say pastoralism. Can we spell the word pastoralism? Pastoralism, P-A-S-T-O-R-A-L-I-S-M. Pastoralism. This is sometimes referred to as cattle keeping. That's why you see it in brackets. Pastoralism can mean cattle keeping, okay? So somebody can ask you to define what pastoralism is. So pastoralism, this is the keeping of animals as a traditional way of life. The keeping of animals as a traditional way of life. Then there is sometimes where they add the word nomadic, and it becomes nomadic pastoralism. So nomadic pastoralism, this is the movement of people and their animals from one place to another looking for water and pasture. Do you get that? I don't want you to get confused when somebody talks about pastoralism and when somebody talks about nomadic pastoralism, okay? So another activity we have there, tourism. I already saw you in the other region that we have there, Kidepo Valley National Game Park. We also have very many other beautiful features there that can attract the tourists. Then we have mining, we have crop growing. Some of these activities you can refer to our very first type of climate. That's the tropical climate that we looked at. We had some pictures that would show some of these activities taking place, okay? So I expect you to do that. Now, just like we are saying, this region supports crop growing. So what are the possible crops, or what are the suitable crops that can be grown in such a region that receives little rainfall, the region that is hot and dry, okay? So in this case, you realize we need fast maturing crops. Fast maturing crops. So take an example. We have the millet, we have the sorghum, we have the simsim, we have the cassava, we have the beans. So these are suitable crops in such a region because they can mature very fast. Or in case you want to carry out the growing of the other crops that can also take long to mature, then you can practice what we call irrigation. You can carry out irrigation farming. So irrigation, this is the artificial supply of water to crops to support plant growth. So if you realize you want to carry out crop growing for the other crops that take a long time to mature, then you carry out irrigation. Is that okay? So next time, I believe, when you get chance and settle in such a region, you know the activities that you're meant to put there, okay? We say it is hot and dry. Therefore, you have to put on light clothes like the vests to regulate the temperature. You have to regulate the temperature by putting on light clothes. All right. So like in our usual lessons, I have some simple activity put here for you to check whether you've been following critically, okay? So you're gonna do this activity. Remember, I need neat work, okay? No crossing, sit comfortably, sit conveniently, and write very neat work, okay? Yes. Just like I told you last time, now that we're in this period, endeavor to help your parents with house chores. Remember to keep yourself safe and stay at home, okay? Thank you for listening. Let's meet in the next lesson.